Hello, everyone. Welcome to this great session. We've got a great session today planned for you. We are looking at how you can get organized with Gmail, Google Drive, and Google Classroom. I will share my screen now.
In the chat while we're waiting for his stream, type in what piece of Google is the most unorganized. Is it your Drive? Is it your Gmail? Or is it your Google Classroom? Which one is the most unorganized? I'm seeing in the chat a lot of Drive.
Cool. So with that, who are we? Well, yes, it's me. It's me once again. It's the A, B, I, and the D. And I'm here again with all of your PD. But for those of you who might not know me, I'm here to put you straight. I am Abid Patel. I'm a Google certified trainer, a Google certified innovator, and I'm the IT director at the Leading Learning Trust in London. And I'm absolutely devastated to be joined today. Sorry, did I say devastated? I meant delighted to be joined today by Miss Stephanie Howell. Not many people know her, but I know a few things about her. Let me give you a few warning tips. Right. First, she's bad. She's very, very bad. There's no getting away from that. Two, she is allergic to watching movies. True fact. Three, she is the annoying one in the Get Inspired and Innovate podcast.
Wow.
Be aware of that. And fourth, and finally, and the most important thing you need to know, she has some very questionable opinions about the way you should view things in Google Drive, but we'll get more onto that later. Anyway, Stephanie, for now, do you want to delight all of our viewers by introducing yourself?
You promised no script. I'm really upset right now. Like
I am not.
Like 40
I am anyway. We got the PD to get onto. Not people aren't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I am Stephanie Howell. I'm an instructional technology coordinator for the Pickerington Local School District. Yes, it is the best school district in the entire world. Compared to that Leading Learning Trust. Yeah, I don't even know what that means. I don't even know if they educate kids there, but this is going to be a fun session and hopefully we can get you organized. Be aware of Abid. He is a hoarder and he is unorganized. So I don't even know why he's doing.
Okay, that's enough of you. We've had enough. Right, on to the PD, because everyone is here, of course, to see me and the PD. Right, so today, as I said, we're going to be looking at Gmail, Google Drive, and Google Classroom. And so let's start by looking at Gmail and why we need to get organized in Gmail. Now, I know what you're thinking is we've all been using Gmail for, or any sort of email for all of our adult lives now, pretty much. And, it's just sending emails here and there and receiving emails, trashing, junk, that kind of stuff. But why do you need to get organized with your email? What's so important? And what about this screen here, the one that tells you how to achieve inbox zero? Why is inbox zero so important? Whenever I talk to people about inbox zero, they're like, what do you mean? Does that mean you got rid of all of your emails? How can you not have any emails in your inbox? That looks wrong. Well, no, that's not what inbox zero is about. Inbox zero is about well-being. Now, if you were in the GEG UK Twitter chat yesterday, you'll have seen that we were talking all about well-being whilst working from home, and it's even more important now with the distance learning and remote working stuff. And so it's really important to take our digital well-being into account. So we're looking at we're going to look at a few things on how you can use Gmail to and some of the advanced features in Gmail to make sure you get in control of your inbox again. So we'll be looking at if you snooze, you don't lose, you win, and how snoozing your emails can work. We'll be looking at filters and labels to organize and prioritize your emails. We'll be looking at tasks and how you can create lists within your emails so that you've got a list of all the tasks that you need to complete with Google Tasks. We'll be looking at templates and having set templates that you can send on a regular basis so you can speed up your responses. We'll be looking at schedule send, which is a really important one when it comes to well-being, and that will help you to ensure that you're sending email, not just not forgetting to send emails, but sending emails at the right time so that you're not worried about you're not worried about affecting other people's digital well-being. And then, once we take all of that into account, you'll be able to work smarter and not harder to improve your digital well-being, which is really, really important. So first and foremost, prioritizing your emails, snooze. And this is a really great one that I'll fully admit I hadn't been using very well until recently. And what snooze does, it allows you to temporarily remove your emails from your inbox until you need them. So what will happen is you receive an email in your inbox that might say, oh, can you please remember to meet with me, next Friday at 4:00. And before you do that, make sure you write the report and all of that stuff. Now that's next Friday. I've got loads of important things to worry about until then. So if I jump into my email, I'll give you an example. So here I've received an email from Becky, and she said, she wants to meet with me on Monday. So what I'll do is I'll say, right, I want to snooze this. So I can hover over here and snooze, or I can hover over these icons here, and then you can see this one is snooze. Now, one complaint that I normally get is people don't like that it's got these icons and they don't know what they say. So what you can do is you can go into the settings and go into settings again. And what you can do is if you scroll down to where it says button labels, which is right here, you can click on text, click on save, and what you'll see is you'll find that all of those buttons have now become text. Now it's just your personal preference, but I mean, I like to see the texts. I like to be able to see what I'm doing straight away. So what I will do here, I'm going to choose to snooze Becky's email. So I'll click on the snooze button, and then it gives me some default options. So if I want to snooze till later today, tomorrow, or next week, but I want to choose a particular time. So I'm going to choose, I'm going to go click on select time and date, and I'm going to say that she wants to meet with me on the 19th. So I'm going to remind myself on Monday the 18th at 8 a.m. As soon as I click save, you'll see the emails now disappeared from my inbox. So once the emails disappear from my inbox, I've had loads of people say to me, well, where's that email gone? Well, what if I need to get back to it? Well, if you look at the left-hand menu there, and you might find the menu's hidden. So if the menu is hidden, all you need to do is click on the burger menu there, and then you'll find the snooze option. And you can see your email is snoozed until May the 18th. Now, if I quickly snooze another email, so if I snooze this one from Ben, and can I get into it before the timer runs out? So 16:00, nope, I'm just a bit late. So 16:09. So what will happen is in 1 minute, that email will pop back at the top of my inbox over here as if it's a brand new email. And that's the way snoozing works. And it's really, really great for not having to set yourself reminders or set yourself a calendar reminder to say, oh, can you please remind yourself that, oh, I need to address this and I need to deal with that. You don't need to worry about those things. What will happen is you can automatically go back to them by just clicking on snoozed there. Or you'll see in about a minute, it will pop up as a brand new email. And we'll come back to that in a few moments. But that's a really, really great tip for Gmail. And remembering.
I just want everybody to know I snooze all of Abed's emails, and it is amazing. I don't have to read anything that he sends me.
Right. That annoying person's come back on again, but don't worry. We've got some technical difficulties with her, but we'll deal with that later. Right. Anyway, on to Smart Compose. Now, you might have seen that there's this great feature in Gmail now, which uses artificial intelligence. So when you're typing an email out, what will happen is you'll see what Gmail actually does, as you can see in the GIF over there, and that's GIF with a hard G, GIF, Team GIF, Team hard G, definitely. So anyway, you'll see that as the GIF is typing the email there, what Gmail does is it automatically fills out the emails or makes suggestions for what you might find useful, and it's really handy for just speeding up the typing of your email. Once you put, for example, here it's put Jacqueline's name in. As soon as you type in hello or hi or hey, it'll automatically suggest Jacqueline, and then all you need to do is you just need to press the tab key or the right cursor key, and then it will automatically populate that what you want. And what's really, really great about it is it will learn from what you are doing. So as you type more and more, the artificial intelligence will learn to the way you write and the way you type, and it's a really great thing to see. I can show you an example here. So we will look at, if we go to compose, if I type in Stephanie, and then I type in meeting next Tuesday, if I type in hey, press space, you can see it's automatically suggested Stephanie. If I say, can we meet next Tuesday, it does normally fill that out, but you can see what the way it works. And as I type in kind regards, it's automatically suggested, and that's the way you can use you can use schedule mode in Smart Compose in Gmail, and it's a really nice feature to have that will help you speed up the way you do the way you type your emails. Next is templates. So again, if I jump into the email, if I say I want to have a template that says, I don't know, clean your desk, and then I'll say, remember to clean your desk. And now I want to send that every week to my team to say, make sure you clean up and stay clean. What you can do is, if you go to the 3 dots here, more options, there's this option that says templates. And what I can do, if I go to save draft as template and then save as a new template, it'll ask me to save, select the name. So it's automatically picked up the subject, click on save. And what you'll find is now, when I want to create a new message, all I need to do is click on the 3 dots, go to templates, and you can see I've got the template there to clean your desk. And then I can just send it to whoever I need. So it's a really nice thing to have when you want to, when you might type in a message regularly, and you might not have the templates option there. So in order to get the templates option, if you go to settings and then settings again, what you need to do is go to advanced, and then you'll see this option for templates. All you need to do is enable it, and then you'll have your templates there. So next up, we've got Google Tasks. Now, Google Tasks is, like I hinted on at the start, it's a really nice, quick task utility that shows you all of the tasks that you need to do right in the right-hand side of your Gmail. And you can create tasks really easily by adding the email, by selecting the option to add to tasks, or you can drag the email directly into tasks. So if I jump into my email again, I've got an email here from Darren that says, take a look at some legal side of branding. I'll say, okay, that's a task for me to do. So you can see here, as I've selected the email, I've got the option to add to tasks. As soon as I press add to tasks, tasks pops up, and there you go. I've got the task there, and it also helps me to, if I click on here, it'll take me back to the email. I can also see this one from Ben that says, can you please tell me the events that are scheduled? So, right, I need to get the events. What I'll do this time is I'll just drag the email over the tasks, and there it is. And then once I've completed those tasks, all I need to do is tick them and then check them off. And then you'll see they appear in the completed section here at the bottom. And if I want to see all of my completed tasks, I just click on completed there, and it shows me. I can delete them individually, or I can click on these 3 dots here and then delete all completed tasks. And it's as simple as that. It's a really nice thing to see. There, also in the right-hand side, you've got your Google Calendar built in, so you can see your daily view of your Google Calendar. And you've also got Google Keep. Google Keep is a nice note-taking thing. So, if I need to take a note to say, let's buy pizza tonight, then all I need to do is type in the note, done, and there it's there. And then I can also choose to open in a new tab, and it'll take me into the full Google Keep view. So that's Google Tasks. Really nice thing to make sure you've got all of your tasks in a nice handy space on the right hand side, so you can see what you need to do pretty much straight away. Next, we've got schedule send. Schedule send is a really great one, because what that allows you to do is it allows you to send emails at a particular time so that you're not forgetting. But also, you know, we're all guilty of working really long hours. We're guilty of working at unsociable hours. And so you don't want to be sending emails to your colleagues outside of working patterns, because they might not want to be disturbed. So what you can do is you can use the schedule send option. So if I show you that, jumping back into the email again, if we go to compose, and then I'll type the email. So I'll type to Stephanie, and I'll say, remember something. And then I'll say, don't forget. Now what I can do is, rather than press send, if I click on the arrow next to send and then click on schedule send, you can see it gives me a few options: tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon, Monday morning. So what I can do is I can say, right, I want to remind her tomorrow afternoon at 1 o'clock. Click on that, and what it does is it now sends the it puts it into scheduled mode. And what I can do is I can go in to the scheduled section here, and then I can say, I can look at the message that are scheduled to be sent. So here is the message that I just sent, and I've got the option to cancel the send. So if I decide that, no, I don't want her to remember that, or I don't want to send it tomorrow, I want to send it on another time, then all I need to do is cancel the send. As soon as I do that, it takes me back into the draft mode, and all I need to do again is change it and say, this time I want to schedule send, and instead I want to do it on Monday morning. And there you go. It's put it into Monday morning. And it's a really nice thing, because that way, if you've made a mistake, if you've made a typo, if you've done anything like that, because you've not sent it straight away, you can come back to it later on. You can delete it completely, or you can just cancel the send, and then you can edit the mistake and then go back. So it's a really nice feature, and it helps you to keep your digital well-being, because obviously you don't want to be disturbing people outside of their working hours, but also it helps us to get into that mindset as well. So using Gmail stars to track important emails. And this is a really common one that I get, especially from people who are coming from something like Outlook, where the equivalent, I would say, is flags. And so when they want to flag an email. So the really useful thing with Gmail stars is you can star your email and have them all in one nice, easy to find place as well. There are loads of options for colored stars. You can have all of these colors. By default, you'll have the yellow option, but you can also have the options for all of these different colors. And if you select all of these stars, what it will do is, as soon as you click on the star, it will take you through each different color. If I show you how to do that, so jumping back into the email again, if I go back into my inbox, let's go into the settings and settings again. And then on the first page, if you scroll down to where the stars are, so you see I've only got one star, but I can choose to have, let's choose to have this pink exclamation mark, or red bang as the American terminology is. If I go all the way down to save. So I've got this email here, and let's see, I've got this email from Kat, who's talking about list view, because list view is the perfect way to view things in Google Drive, which is great. So what I want to do is I want to star this email because it's important. So I can click on here. That gives me the yellow star. If I click it again, that should have given me, there we go. That gives me the red bang now. Now, if I want to, as I get more and more emails in my inbox, as those starred messages disappear, if I want to come back to my starred messages, I simply go to the starred section there, and you can see there's Kat's email with the red exclamation mark. If I click on it again, it removes the star, and then it will disappear out of the starred back into the inbox. So that's simply put stars, and it's a really nice thing to highlight an important message that you might want to come back to at a later time. One use case scenario that I use it for is, for example, when I go to conferences, and hopefully at some point someday we'll be going back to conferences. Whenever I get my tickets, the entry tickets for the conference, I will star it so that it's in the starred, and then I can come back to it when it's time to go to the conference. Next up, undo send. This is a really, really useful one when you hit send and you're about to, and then you've just realized that you've made a mistake and it's too late. What Gmail offers is a great option in the settings called undo send. Now, so if we scroll down in the settings to the option for undo send, which I have gone past. There we go. So by default, Gmail turns on the undo send and sets it at 5 seconds. You have the option to have it at 5, 10, 20, or 30. I'm going to set it at 30 seconds for this example. I'm going to go down and I'm going to click on save. And so what might happen is I might then go to compose an email, and I'll compose an email to Stephanie, and I'll say it's true. And then I'll say grid view is better than list view. I then click on send, and then I realize I'm not feeling too well, and I hit my head straight and realize that, right, I shouldn't have done that. As you can see here, I've got this option here, and I can simply press undo and say, you know, it comes back and it cancels sending that email. So it's come back and it's taken me into the view, and I can turn around and I can correct this and say list view is the best, and then send that email over to Stephanie because she needs to know that information. So that's undo send. Next up, how to use labels and tame your inbox. So labels is a really great thing because what it allows you to do, labels is kind of like the equivalent of folders in Outlook. But the useful thing about labels is where in Outlook you had folders where you would literally drag an email and put it into that folder. The way labels work is you can have multiple labels attached to an email. So you can have, as you can see, I've got loads of labels down the side here. I can take this email from Ben, for example, and I can assign it a label. So I can say it's got the Bet label, and it's got the GEG label, and it's got the Google label, and then I click on apply. And then as soon as I go into one of those labels, I will see the email from Ben. So I've got it here, I've got it in Google, and I've got it in GEG. So you see, it's only kept one copy of the email. All it's done is, as you can see at the top there, it's got all of these labels. So it's in my inbox, it's in the other labels that I've attached. If I want to take it out, I just simply cross off the labels, and then it will disappear from those labels, and then it'll only be in the inbox. That's labels. You can create labels by two ways. You can either click on labels here, and then you can create a new label. So I'll call this label Ben Moore, and then create new. And create, or you can scroll down to the bottom here, and then you can go to manage labels or create new labels. And that's a really useful thing on creating labels. What I can also do is I can say that I want these labels, I want to be able to see them quick and easily. So all I have to do is click on the label, and I can set it a nice bright color. So if I say red, you can see now straight away, I can see in my email, without having to go through all of my email, I can see there's a bright red label there with Ben that I can see quite easily. And you can do that with all of your labels. You can go through and you can assign them a nice color. And that's labels. Now, next up, we've got filters and creating rules to filter your emails. So if I, and this works really nicely with labels. So if I go through back to my email, I can see here that I've got a few emails here. So I've got some emails here from Fred, and they don't look very savory. So I'm going to tick those emails. And what I would normally do is I would click on spam. But I know Fred's not such a bad guy because he sent me an email that says list view. So I'm not going to send those particular ones to spam, but I'm going to say just these ones I'm going to delete for now. But I've got a few emails here from Stephanie, right? And she's talking about inbox 0. She's talking about Sydney 19. She has some very disturbing views about Sydney 19. Grid view, yeah, we don't like that. You know what? We don't really like seeing these emails from Stephanie. So what I can do is I've selected these emails, and I can click on more and then filter messages like these. And because Stephanie's such a bad person and we don't really like her, what I can say is I can say any email that I receive from Stephanie, and it's automatically populated her email address. If I want, I could say any email she sends to me about grid view, but here I want to delete all of the messages that Stephanie sends me. So I can say I want to filter these messages, and then all I want to do is I want to skip the inbox. No, well, no, I don't want to skip the inbox. I could say I want to skip the inbox, mark them as read, and put them somewhere where I don't have to worry about them. But what I'm going to actually do here is I'm just going to say I want to delete them. So any messages I receive from Stephanie, I'm simply going to delete. And it also offers to find the rest of the emails from Stephanie. And then all I have to do is create a filter, and then you can see it just gets rid of them all from my inbox, because yeah, don't want to be bothered by her anymore. And then I've got Kat here, and you know, Kat's a wonderful person, because look, she likes list view, so she's a great person. Fred's a great person, and also I received this one from Sarah. She's an amazing person as well. And what I want to do is every time I receive an email from those guys, I can turn around and go to more, filter messages like this. I can say if I receive an email from Kat, Fred, or Sarah, what I want to do is I want to create a filter, and I want to say I want to apply the label, and I'm going to choose a new label, and this one, choose a new label and call it Team List View. And all good teams need a hashtag. So Team List View, click on create. Once I click on apply filter to those conversations, create the filter, and you can see it's created a new label there, and it's put all of those emails into Team List View. And that's really great. So every time I receive an email now from Kat, Fred, or Sarah, they'll automatically get labeled into List View. They'll also still appear in my inbox. As you saw there was an option to skip the inbox. So if I show you that again, if I don't want it to be in the inbox, I just have to say skip the inbox and archive it, and then that means that it won't appear in the inbox anymore. So that's labels. And that's pretty much Gmail in a nutshell. So shall we bring back my annoying co-host and take any questions?
I just want you to know that your daughter is watching.
Yeah,
and nice.
She is a wonderful person, and
she is not happy with you right now.
Dad.
All right, so we are going to do questions for this round. We're going to do questions after every round. And what are your Gmail questions? So go ahead and place some questions in the chat. I know there were some already. The first one we have, let me see if I can find it. Here. There's so much stuff in the chat. Do you know if, I don't know which feature she was talking about, but is it English only?
I'm not sure. I think most of the features. I think she might have been talking about Smart Compose. I know initially when it was in the beta stage, it was English only, and I think Google are slowly rolling out new languages. So yeah.
I just want to say, did you know that we're meeting Tuesday, Abid, and you're not invited? Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. That's right. I don't need to waste my time in this one's presence.
There's so many different stuff. I love all these comments, but it's really hard to find questions. All right, so can you show real quick columns? I don't think we even touched that. So that might be something to really show real quick, how to set up your email. I know people set it up differently, but if you could show that in the settings.
Yes. So as you can see here, I've got my email set as preview pane. I think that's what might be the question. So in the corner here, you'll have an icon that says to toggle split pane mode, and there's some options. You've got no split. So if I select no split, it gives me just a very basic list of all of my emails. I can also go through vertical split, and I can also go through horizontal split. So horizontal splits is, if I go back to my inbox, if I go horizontal split, so what that does is it shows me the emails at the bottom of the inbox. Again, it's down to your personal preference. I prefer vertical split because it shows me the emails nice along the side here, and then the content of the email in the main window there.
And then Kyle had another question. Can you just show the chat? Do you have the chat open on your Gmail?
Yes, I have got the chat option. Let me share screen again.
And you can move the chat. Right now it's currently like on the left. I have it on the right. So we'll see where Abid has it.
Yes, I have it on the left-hand side.
Yeah, let's move that to the right. That will definitely help you declutter that left side of your Gmail.
So we go into the settings here. You go into advanced, and there's the option here for right side chat. Click on enable. Click on save. There's a save button. Yep, there. And then once you go back into your inbox, you can see that the chat now is on the right-hand side. There. Again, that comes down to preference. I prefer it on the left-hand side. And because that's my preference, I'm right.
No. All right. So when you do assign a label, what happens? Does it come out of your inbox or does it stay there?
So when you assign an email to a label, it will stay in your inbox so long as it has the inbox label. So again, inbox is just another label. That's the way you need to think about your inbox. So you can see here, I've got Kat's email in the inbox and also in the label team list view. Now, if I want to take the email out of the inbox, there's multiple ways I can do it. I can click on the cross here, or I can simply click on archive. As soon as I click on archive, you can see it disappears from the inbox. Now, it disappears from the inbox. I can still find it in team list view. However, if I go to an email that isn't in a particular label, so say, for example, this one by Darren, if I click on archive, it's now gone out of my email, but out of my inbox. But that doesn't mean it's been deleted. It's just gone into the archive. Now, a lot of people have asked me in the past, where is the archive? If you click on more at the bottom here and then click on all mail, that is your archive. And what all mail has is it has every email that's in your mailbox, whether it's in a label or whether it's in the archive. Everything that's in your mailbox appears here. So you can see the ones that have their own labels and ones that aren't in the inbox. So that's where messages go from out of your inbox.
And then Luis, yes, please post Abid's email address, and everybody in this watching live or watching later, send Abid an email so he is no longer at inbox 0. So make sure.
Don't worry about that. We will soon be at inbox 0. I was at inbox 0 for this session. I just needed people to email me so that we had something to at least show. But don't worry, Stephanie's not the only one at inbox 0. We'll get there.
And then Abid, do you have a resource for some advanced features of filters?
We'll be sharing these slides at the end of the session, but I will definitely put something up on the, if you follow Global Geg on Twitter, we'll definitely put something up to talking about the advanced slides, advanced features of filters.
And then can you show how you can take an event from your calendar and add it, or an event from your email and add it to a calendar?
Yes. So if we go into Gmail, if I take this one from Luis and say that I want to add it to a calendar, all I need to do is click on more and create an event. And what that does is it pops me into a new window, and then you can see I can get the calendar option. So I can say, yep, Monday at 5 p.m. Click on save. And then it's also taken the fact that Luis has sent me that email and it's added him as a guest to the calendar invite. And then I can simply click on send. And then what happens is it then creates a calendar invite.
And then in the chat, share your tips and tricks of other Gmail tips that we did not share. We're going to move on to Drive, but real quick, also in the chat, let us know, are you team right side chat or are you team left side? I am team right side. So everybody, right, team right side, said we can be Abid. right, you ready for Drive, Abid?
Yep, let's take it away.
All right. All right, so we are now going to be talking about how to organize your Drive. We're going to tag team this one, and we're going to learn how to best use Drive so we can work more efficiently and quicker. So the first tip that we have is grid view or list view. So in the chat, I want you to say that you are team grid view. If you put list view, it's wrong. That is not correct answer. So
as we learned earlier on in the session, team list view is the right way to be. Team grid view is the wrong way to be.
I don't think so. So it's team grid view. I'm writing it right now in the chat. There's so many people going off with grid view right now. But there is list view. So I am going to show it just so Abid can calm down. And I'm going to delete this bit emoji because, yeah, list view sucks. But the reason that I love grid view is because of the visuals. It really helps to see quickly what I need to do. I'm more of a visual person where I guess Abid really likes words, which I don't understand why. So you're going to open up a new tab and I'm going to go to Google Drive. Once you're at Google Drive, you're going to be in your My Drive. And there is just a little bit of a toggle that you have to do right here. As you can see, mine is going to be grid view. I can quickly find my nice little folders. They're color-coded. I can see quickly the images of things popping up. And then as soon as I click this button, it goes to list view, which I really don't find a use for. But with list view, you can see the names. You can also see who it's owned by. And then you can find out when it was last modified and the file size. But again, you don't need all that information. So you can just use grid view, which is easier for you to search for things that are in your drive. Maybe. There we go. So yes, make sure you pick grid view.
Right. Enough of her because she is completely incorrect. As you can see, if I pop over to my drive, everything is nicely tidy because it is in list view. If I switch to grid view, that just looks a bit of a mess. So anyway, back to list view. But that's enough of grid view and list view for now. Let's go on to the next one, which is starred and recents. So just pretty much similar to how you work with Gmail starred, you can simply put star folders and files in Google Drive as well. So if I take this folder here called Meet Recordings, I can right click on the folder and you can see here there's an option to add to starred. I can add that to starred, and then where that will be is if I go into the left hand side here in the menu, I click on starred and you can see there that the folder that I want is starred in this folder, and I can come back to it nice and easily. And then likewise, you've got recents, and what recents does is it takes all of the files that you've interacted with on a recent basis, and it shows them in chronological order. So I've worked on this file on Pear Deck, I've worked on some Google Sites, I've messed about with some videos and things like that. So it's really, really handy to have everything that you've worked on recently. There's also priority. So what priority does is if you have something that you regularly work on, again, Google's artificial intelligence will go through and learn things that you're working on a regular basis, and then you can set up priority. You can also set up workspaces. So if there's a particular file that you work on regularly, you can set up workspaces so that you've got everything there ready as and when you need it. So that's starred and recents.
Your folders, as one of our friends, Stephanie, likes to say, homeless, because if they are homeless, we can fix that with folders. And folders are an amazing way to help you organize your documents in Drive. So again, I'm going to go over to Google Drive, and I've got folders already in here. But to create a new folder, you can either go to New, and I can go click folder, and then you can rename it to create a folder. So again, new, and then I can add a folder. And then I can put Drive, and then I just hit create. My folder is just gonna pop up in my Google Drive. So as you can see, it's right here. And then I can just click the presentation and drag it into that folder so it's nice and organized. I can also drag this one into there. See how easy that is with grid view? I mean, I just love grid view. All these little documents are just homeless and they need a home. But if you did want to use grid view or list view, you could go to list view and it works the same way. So you can just click your folder and then just drag it to that place. You can also do it the harder way, but this way I believe will save you time. If you want to do it the other way, 2 fingers, 1 click on a folder. And you can go to move to. And then I can move that document to that drive folder. I just have to click it once it loads. So that's an option. Another tip that I like to do is once I'm in my presentation, the amazing Melissa Summers made this presentation. I am going to go up to the top once it loads, and there's going to be a drive symbol. I can move my documents that I have open to a folder without being in my drive at all, which can really, really help with keeping things organized and not homeless, as Stephanie would say. And so once this loads, I should have picked something that wasn't as graphics and everything. But look how gorgeous this presentation is. There it is. So right here's my folder. You just have to click that button and then you can move it to wherever you want to move it. So right now it's in my technology folder. I could move it to this cutouts folder. I could move it to the tech pathways folder. I could quickly move it back and put it back in my drive. I could put it in the starred folder. If I did want to star this, I could also click this button and it will be in my starred folder. So as you can see, I could do it both ways. I can either drag if I'm in my drive, or if I'm in the document, go to that drive symbol and quickly move it to a folder. I know you're going to learn some other tips later with docs.new and stuff, and that will help you with moving things to folders, that folder up at the top. Also with Drive, you can do some other fun things with folders. You can have folders within folders. So if I click this folder, you can see all these amazing other folders that are within this folder. And again, I can do fingers 1 click and I can star my folders and they are going to go to this area, which we will talk about in a little bit.
Right. So next up, we've got search. Now, search is such an amazing thing, and it's amazing how so many of us forget that Google actually did start as a search company, and believe it or not, they're quite good at search. And that's where the search in Google Drive really comes into powerful effect. So grid view, list view, whatever way you want to think about it, as soon as you've worked on something in the past, you're more than likely to have forgotten where you've put it, or something or another. So say, for example, I've got some files here. So I'll say, for example, Twitter stuff, and I don't know where that file is. I can simply click on type it in the search, and then you can see, there you go, I've got Twitter stuff. But what I can also do is I can also take searching one step further. If I click on the arrow button here, you can see what it does is it gives me some options. So I know that I had a Google Doc that was called Twitter stuff, and I can say that the owner was me, or it was owned by anyone or a specific person. I'll just leave it anywhere, anyone for now. I can also say that it was anywhere, whether it was in my drive or shared drives or anywhere possible, but I don't know where it is, so I'm just going to say anywhere for now. And then what I can do is I can say that what the item's name was. I can say it was something to do with Twitter, and then whether I can also go into some of the more detailed things as what words it had, who it was shared with, the follow-up, anything like that. For now, I'll just do this and I'll click on search. And what it does is it goes through my entire Google Drive, and it'll find that I've got two documents there which match that search criteria. One is Twitter stuff, and then the other one was something to do with Twitter chat. but there you go, I can easily find. So it's really, really handy, and it's really powerful to be able to find the documents you need. And it comes back to the power of Google search. You can also choose to search in your trash, or you can choose to search in your starred. So it's a really, really, really powerful thing to remember, search and the advanced search features in Google Drive.
So now we're going to talk about sharing. So sharing in Drive is super important, especially right now. I know a lot of teachers used to use Google Classroom to share everything, but now with remote learning, we're creating HyperDocs, we're creating Google Slides, so it's all in one place for students. And so sharing in Drive has become a little bit more tricky. So I just wanted to go over this to help everybody out. And plus it will save you time when somebody asks, hey, can I get that worksheet? And then you can share it with them. So if you're in your Google Drive and I want to share this Google slide, 2 fingers, 1 click. Oh, getting click happy. And then you can go to this little person with the plus sign and click share. Once you do that, it's going to load. And then you can type all of your lovely friends into this document to share with them. I can over here then say, oh, I don't want Abid to have access to this anymore, so I'm going to make him a view only person. Make sure you double check all that. You can also give temporary access to folders. So you might want to say, like, in 24 hours, you're not going to have access to this document anymore, which is really handy. You can also switch ownership if you needed to. You can also share the link. So most issues happen because people keep this link restricted. You need to change this link so it's no longer restricted and to anybody can have the link or your organization can have the link. And then once you click that, you can decide if you want people to view, edit, or comment. So there's a way to share quickly from just the Google Drive, or I could go into a document. So if I go into this Google Sheet and I click this share button, it's going to be green. The colors match with the Google product. Maybe, there we go. I click the share button. And then again, you can add people the same way that you saw in the previous demonstration from Drive. So again, I can add people. I can also get the link. I can see right now this is restricted. Only these people that are on the list can see this. So make sure you're double checking your documents for what you want it to look like. Sharing is super important. And also this is a huge, huge time saver. You can share an entire folder. So if I wanted Abid to have everything in this classroom folder, I do 2 fingers, 1 click, and I'm going to go to the share person. And everything in this folder, it says anyone on the internet can view. I want to leave it like that. But if I wanted to change it, everything in that folder would be changed. So I no longer have to do it for individual documents. I just have to drag, put it in that folder, and then everybody can view that Google document. Such a huge time saver instead of having to go to share every single time. Google Forms is a little different. And a lot of people don't share Google Forms because it's so difficult. And so Abid's going to share some tips with Google Forms later. But for now, if you go to the 3 dots, you have to add a collaborator. It's not a share button. And the send button will send them a view of the Google form. Where if you go to the 3 dots and hit add collaborator, then you can add other people to this document. However, they can only edit it. You can't give them view only. They can't make a copy. We'll show you that trick in a little bit. Abid, back to you.
Right. So can't get on with that grid view she's got going on over there. But anyway, right. Back to my screen. And next up, we've got URL tricks. Now, this is a really great one because what it allows you to do is there's these, you can see every document that you work on in Google Drive. So you can see this one that I'm working on. I'm working on a slide deck here in Google Slides, and you can see it's got this really long URL. The important thing to remember is this bit after the slides, after the slash. So here, you can see where there's this really handy tip where if I was to change this bit to copy, and then if I copy that URL and open it into a new tab, what it will do is it will take me to a window that will say, would you like to make a copy of this this Google slide? And then I can simply say make a copy, and what will happen is it will create a copy in my own My Drive. So if I was to share this link now with everyone, it will then make a copy for everyone, and then you can work on that copy on your own, and it's really handy. What I've done here is to avoid all of the clutter, I've got it in preview mode. But if we click on the link, it's once we share the slide deck at the end of the show, you'll see there's this really great URL here which takes you through some really really quick tips. So like I'm showing here, I'm showing it in preview mode. There's also copy. So if I want to send it to someone and they make a copy, I can also add these other bits on to say that they can make comments. I can create a template of it and create a preview. I can export a particular document as a PDF. And there's loads and loads of quick tips that you can use just by changing the URL here. So here I've got I changed that to copy, but that was preview, and it shows the slide deck in a nice full screen presentation mode, but it still gives me access to all of my tabs that I might want to use. So that's URL tricks.
So now we're going to talk about colors. I love, again, grid view, team grid view. Hopefully the chat goes wild. But you also need to add colors onto your Google Drive. So you can see over here, boring, they're all gray. And now you can all these fun colors to make it quick and easy to find your folders or what you're trying to look for. So again, I'm going to go back to my drive, 2 fingers, 1 click. And then you go to change color, and I can pick any of these different colors, and now you can see it stays organized. However, once you pick a color, you cannot go back to the original gray color. So just know once you change the color, you can change it to any color. You just can't go back. Well, I guess you can. You used to not be able to go back, but it looks like we can. So again, 2 fingers, 1 click. And then change colors, and it will help you quickly find what you're looking for in your drive.
Right, next up we have quickly create new documents. Now, about a year, just over a year ago, Google added this really nice, quick and easy tip on how you can create new documents in your drive. So you've always been able to create new documents by clicking the new button here, and then you can click on Docs, Sheets, Slides. If you click on More, you can select a new form and drawings and all of this stuff here. But there's a really nice feature that Google have done. And you simply open a new tab and you just type in docs.new. If I want to create a new Google Docs document, click on press enter, and you see it takes me into a brand new document that I can do. I can then do the same for Sheets. I can do sheets.new. Again, what that'll do, it'll take me straight into a Google Sheet, and then I can also do the same for example, forms. So if I can do forms.new, or I can do form.new, click on that, and then you can see what it will do is it will bring up a blank Google form. So it's a really nice, quick and easy way of creating new documents. You can do it for all of these ones you've got here. You've got docs.new, doc.new, sheets, sheet, slides, keep, forms, calendar, meeting, sites. There's all of those that you can do. And the question I normally get is, when you do those, where does it put the documents? It will, as you start working on the documents, automatically put into the root of your My Drive. So just remember, just to keep clean, make sure you put all of those documents into a folder. And if you have your view nicely in this view, you'll be able to see them all perfectly correctly.
So one thing Avid forgot to kind of mention is make sure you label your new document. It will be untitled, so make sure you do add a name. That will help you stay organized and help you quickly find things later down the road. If you notice the question, place your favorite emoji in the chat. So we're going to be talking about emojis and how to add them to your Google Drive. So we already did colors and we already did grid view. These do work in list view, but we're going to show in grid view. If you go to this website, you will have this website after the presentation, and I'll put it in the chat once Avid is done. There are so many different emojis. So you can find your favorite emoji or help you explain one of those emojis. Any emoji site will work, or extension. Extensions do help you save time. But let's just go ahead and let's say I want this trophy. I'm going to do Command Copy. Again, another shortcut key to help you save time. Go back to my Google Drive folder. I'm going to click this down arrow and I'm going to rename it. Once you rename it, you can decide where you want your emoji to go. So there you go. I'm going to hit OK. If I go back to my drive, I can now see, oh, it's in this folder. I can now see that folder with that emoji. You can add as many emojis as you want to your different folders. And again, it just helps that visual. The grid view really helps with that visual. This is kind of what it looks like in list view. So again, you can see that emoji, but I think it looks better in grid view.
And that is it for Google Drive. Right. If there are any questions, please pop them into the chat. The chat has been super busy. So apologies if we miss out some of your questions, because it is crazy in there at the moment, but that is really great to see. But if you do have any questions, then please fire them in the chat and we will come back to them. But for now, because I've been doing such a stellar job for the last hour or so, I'm going to put my feet up and leave it to the lesser fun part of the co-presenters, Stephanie, to take it away with Google Classroom.
Wow, I'm excited. Okay, so we're going to talk about Google Classroom. And yeah, it's the end of the year, but we are going to talk about how to get ready for the start of next year. And we don't know what next year is going to look like. So we're going to hopefully be as organized as we can with Google Classroom. So I'm going to first go to Google Classroom in one tab. My first tip for Google Classroom is when you are creating assignments, create a resource topic. So that will help students any resources that you have for the course. It can kind of be like their resource hub. A couple of my teachers, they create these hubs and it's hyperlinks of information for students to quickly find. They just create them in a Google Slide or Google Doc, and then kids can just click and it looks like a choice board, kind of tic-tac-toe board. But you can also add that to the resource topic. So here you can see there's the syllabus, the class policies, sign up for Remind. If your class uses Remind, all of that information goes into the resource area on your Google Classroom. So to create your resource, you're just going to go to Google Classroom. I'm going to create a brand new class, if it will let me. I'm going to create a new class. I'm going to call it Test. Once you have your classroom set up, you're going to go into Topics. I hate the stream, and we will talk about that a little bit later. But if you go to Classwork, we're going to go to Create, and we're going to add a new topic. And we're just going to call it Resources. I now have an area where I can now add, if I want to, material. I can go to Topic, and I can add it to the resource topic. So now my students will be able to see that I have created a material for them, and it's all in this easy to find place resource tab, because we all have those miscellaneous documents for our students. The next tip is using Numbering your assignments. This tip will really help with students to quickly find assignments in your Google Classroom. So if you want to, you can use any of these templates that are in here. They're hyperlinked onto the image. And Amanda is amazing, and she created these resources, and it has numbers already there. So you just have to write which assignment it is. And then when students are back in August and they're like, oh, I didn't do, you didn't do assignment number 16, they can quickly go to Google Classroom and find assignment 16. So again, I'm going to create a topic. I'm going to call it Unit 1. Once I have that topic created, I'm going to go to an assignment, and I'm going to just call it number 1, get to know you. I'm going to go to my topics because we want to stay organized and assign that to my students. My students can quickly see that number 1 assignment. Also, if you use Command F or Control F and they type in 1, they can quickly find all the places that it has a 1. So for example, there's 1s everywhere. So I might want to be a little bit more and add number 1, get to know you, and I can quickly find that resource on my classroom. This will be a great tip for students, especially at the beginning of the year when they're trying to find resources in your Google Classroom. And again, there's templates linked onto all of these slides. The next one is scheduling a post. This will just help you with time management, or if you have a sub. I know we might be remote learning next year, but there is a template right here to help you organize your sub plans using scheduled posts. Make sure you schedule a little bit earlier right now. If you schedule at 8:57, it should arrive on time. I know there's been a couple delays with distance learning, so just schedule a little bit of ahead if you need it at 9. Make sure you're scheduling maybe 15 minutes before. That way everything is linked in their assignments and it's all available for students. But scheduling a post can just help you organize your time. Maybe on Fridays you're using it to plan. You can get all of your planning done on Friday, and over the weekend you do not have to worry about posting a single assignment. You can also use the drafts. So if I'm in Google Classroom and I go to create an assignment, I can do test, I can schedule it, or I can also just click the X and it's right here. Gray means it's a draft mode. If I want to assign it, I'm going to edit it, and I can go over to this drop-down menu and I can schedule my assignment. Again, you can save it as a draft, or I could just assign it if I was ready for my students to have it. And then I'm going to schedule it for tomorrow at 8 a.m., but I'm going to make it a little bit earlier because I want to make sure it gets there at 8 a.m. And then I'm going to hit schedule, and my students will be able to see that assignment. The next tip, tip number 4, is creating a copy of your course. This is a huge time saver tip. Make a template of your Google Classroom. So this summer, whenever you have time, you're going to create a template of everything that you want for your course. Once you have all of your units or weeks laid out of how you kind of want it set up, you only have to do that once if you want to copy that over to 3 different classes. So once my test class is done, I can go here and I can hit copy. It's going to copy everything over. So you can see it says copy of test. I could call it period number 2. As soon as I hit copy, it made a copy of the test. So now you can see both classrooms. If I click in on it, you can see all of the same resources that I had in my previous class. This will save you a ton of time, especially if you already have a classroom set up that you really like. Go ahead and just copy that over and take some things out for next school year. Another one that will save you time is Screencastify. So if you use Screencastify, you just have to click this extension right here, and you can record video directions for students. This is a huge time saver because how many of you want to receive email after email and you will no longer be at inbox 0? So if you hit record, you can get, you can videotape yourself, or you can videotape the screen depending on which option you choose. I can hit stop. It's going to save. And another time saver tip is it's going to open up in a new tab, and you just have to click Send to Google Classroom. So right here, you just have to share it right to Google Classroom. Yesterday, I learned during our Edpuzzle video that you can also download these as GIFs. And if you go into more options right here, and then go to add more share options, I can also turn on Edpuzzle or Remind if you use those, or Wakelet. And now when I have those turned on and go back to my recording, I can send it straight to Edpuzzle, and I then can assign that to Google Classroom. So huge time saver tips there without having to do multiple clicks. It will save you a few clicks so your fingers aren't as tired. The next tip after Screencastify is having the mobile app on your phone. Make sure you do turn it off at a certain time so you can keep that digital wellness. I know I really struggle in that area, but this will help you with different things. Instead of sitting there waiting for students to be called on, you can use the app, and it will allow you to do the student selector. So then you can pick random students on who you want to check in on or who you want to call. You can also use this for social emotional check-ins. Maybe you want to see which student you should reach out to today. So you're just going to randomly select students on your phone, and you might write them a nice handwritten letter to those students. Very helpful, and it can really save you some time having your device on that classroom app. It can also help you with answering some questions. You can enhance your classroom with emojis. So another fun one, I love these at the bottom. It says, "Don't give up" with a donut. I love just seeing those. I think kids love those too. But once you're in Google Classroom, you can go to another website I'm going to give you, and you can copy any of these different emojis. There's also different shortcut keys that you can use on your computer to make it faster. But I can search computer. And let's see what pops up. I see I have a laptop or a desktop example. I'm going to pick laptop. And just like the Google folder, Command Copy, go back to my Unit 1. And I want to add a computer. This is a really good tip for students who are younger, especially elementary, because they might not be able to read some of the words on the Google Classroom. So you can say, "Go to the computer" or "Go to the star," and they will know which section to quickly go to. Or if you're writing directions, you could say, "Go to the computer, go to this emoji," and you could put those emojis and visuals in your directions to help students. And you can add as many emojis as you want. I don't think there's a limit. The next tip is using the stream. I hate this stream. So as you can see, my stream is nice and organized. It doesn't have all the crazy stuff. And to do that, you just go to Settings. And right here, I can go to Classwork Stream, and I can hide notifications. That means none of the classwork is going to pop up, only my announcements. If I show attachments and details, let's see what it looks like. Students can get lost in the stream. I would need to have more assignments, I think, but it would be lost. So if I go to another classroom, let's see if I can pop up this one. You can see it gets very, very messy. I have Leslie who commented, but I also have all these different assignments, and it's just a huge, huge mess. So if I go into Settings, I can then go over to Classwork and Stream, and I want to hide all notifications. So now when I go back into my stream, I have a much cleaner look, and not all the assignments are posted there. I always tell my students, go to the Classwork tab to find anything that you might need. The stream can get messy. The next tip is talking about organization. This is huge to think about right now. How do you want to organize your classroom for next fall? Do you want to organize it by subjects? Are you self-contained and you just want one Google Classroom with all of your subjects in it? That might be an idea. Do you want to organize it by the date? Do you want everything by a certain date? How is it going to be best for students to reach? Do you want to do it by units? So it's Unit 1, Unit 2, Unit 3. Or do you want to do it by type of assignment? So maybe it's a bell ringer. Maybe it's a formative assessment. Maybe it is a Google slide presentation. How do you want to organize your different classrooms to best suit your students? So you really got to think about that. And once you have them organized, You're going to want to force that copy so you don't have to redo that organization of your learning or for your students. And then the last tip, it's almost the end of the year. Pickerington, I know you're listening, so do not do this until September 30th because we still have students turning in work. So if you have students turning in work over the summer, make sure you don't delete any of your classes until then. But you want to archive all your classes. And archiving your classes will just kind of hide them. And you can still reuse different posts and use them and reassign them. So if you go into Classroom and I go back to my classes and I want to archive this class, I'm going to click the archive button. It goes away. So you can no longer see it. You can get it back if you need to. I can just go into archived classes and there it is. And then I can bring it back if I needed to restore it. But I don't need to. And I want to go back to my test class and I want to go to my coursework and I want to reuse a post. I can go back to that test class that is archived and I can reuse assignments from last year. And then I can click it and hit reuse and it is back on my classwork page. I can decide what I want to use and how I need to use it. And then I can click assign. A huge tip for reusing assignments as well. That doesn't get clicked nearly enough. And so those are all my tips for Classroom. I think we're going to bring Abid on and hopefully answer some of those questions that are in the chat.
So it has been a crazy chat this session, and we're really, really grateful for all of the comments. There was one question that I saw from Tracy. If you hide notifications, do you hide them for all of the teachers or just on the Classroom?
From the stream?
Maybe. I think so.
Okay. So on the stream, you would hide them from every single buddy because it would be a setting for every single teacher. So in here, if I do classwork on stream and I want to condense the notifications, it would be for every teacher. You can also delete things, but you can see the deleted things if you turn this on. So only the teachers, so every teacher in the class would be able to view the deleted items. So if you had a student that said something inappropriate, you can delete it. And then if you toggle this on, you can view it later.
Cool. And I think there were some really great comments that were coming through. This one from Scott. I wish Google would make the classwork tab the default landing page. And a great mention there about the feature, requesting a feature and sending feedback. It is really, really important in every single G Suite app. Make sure you leave the feedback. Always leave feedback. There is someone at Google who go through every single piece of feedback, and the more people that leave feedback for a specific request, the bigger the chance there is for Google to implement that into the G Suite core apps. And again, some love for the keeping the stream clean and empty, Stephanie. That's that's a really great tip.
That is a good tip.
And yes, I think we're coming towards the end of our session.
All right. So in the chat, real quick, how do you think you're going to organize your Google Classroom next year? By subject, date, unit, or assignment type? Let's see how everybody's going to organize. And I like what Sarah said in the chat. Let's see if we can pull. Yep, there we go. She said to organize by what works best for your age of students. High school kids will need something different than little. So make sure you think about that. A lot of people are using units. Some people are using dates. It's kind of like our grid view fight. Abid, what would you use if you were a teacher?
Unit definitely makes sense, I think.
All right.
Be an awful lot of love for unit, definitely.
Yeah. And don't forget that grid view is the best view.
There's a question here.
Probably the best tip ever.
Would you set up your classroom different for distance learning?
I think some people do. Some people are putting all of their assignments in one spot. So they're creating a team Google Classroom with a couple different teachers. So kids don't need to go to like 7 different Google Classrooms. So talk to your team, get to know your students and figure out what they need and then work with that. There is the link. Am I ready to say it, Avid? Okay, Google. Let's see how many Google Homes went off. Put in the chat if your Google Home went off. But it is bit.ly at, oh, there goes mine, at OK Google. And that is where you can find all of the resources from today's session. And do not forget to fill out the feedback form. Also.
The top result.
And so thank you so much for joining us. Again, on the link is our presentation. Okay, Google. I hope a couple of those went off. I know mine's going crazy right now. But that is where you can find our slide deck and any resources that were hyperlinked into that. Feel free to steal, reuse, whatever you need to do to become organized. Oh, go back a little bit, Abid. Don't forget to fill out the feedback form, which is the next Google slide. So make sure you fill out that feedback form. If you hyperlink over the Gmail, Abid, we have additional resources for you. So if you want to learn more about Gmail, you just click that icon and it will take you to another slide deck to learn about Gmail. And if you want to learn more about Google Keep, which is another great tool to stay organized, or Google Calendar, or if you want to use Google Drive or Classroom, there are additional resources in there to help you learn about all of those different apps in G Suite. And then we also just wanted to give a quick shout out. I don't know if Clay's listening. Oh, where did he go? Clay is like one of my ed tech crushes. He creates all of our extensions. Whenever we say, hey, Clay, we need this to help us with some time-saving tips, Clay is our man. And so we just wanted to give Clay a shout out. He kind of inspired us to do this session because Clay is always helping us brainstorm ideas on how to save time with his extensions. So he created a ton of different extensions and they're all hyperlinked on that slide deck.
And you know why Clay is so awesome? Because he's part of
American.
London 19. That's why. London 19.
American, and he loves grid view.
No, Clay is a list view man altogether.
No, he's lying to you.
He's list view all the way, and he's London 19. And a quick shout out and thank you to Amanda Sandoval, who inspired this slide deck. So thank you very much. But with that, once again, please leave us your feedback. We're really grateful for feedback, and follow us at Global GEG on Twitter and visit the Global GEG website. We've got lots more sessions coming up. We've also got the GEG South Louisiana launch tonight. That's at 11 p.m. UK time, 6 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Central. I think I've got my time zones all correct. So please feel free to join us on the GEG Global GEG YouTube page, and hope to see you there, and hope to see you again soon for some more sessions. And always remember, list view is the winner.
Grid view.